everyone, my name is Alexandra Chaparro and I'm a biochemistry major here at Providence College, class of 2022. And I chose biochemistry because I'm a woman in STEM. I've loved science ever since I took my first chemistry class in high school. And I've just always been so intrigued by how you can take something on a micro level and study it at such a macro level and see how that translates to our real world environment. It's pretty cool. Yes, so I've been doing research in the inorganic chemistry field for about 3 years now. And I first started when I joined Dr. Maria Carroll's lab when it was all women, and I was a sophomore here at Providence College. And our lab primarily focuses on transition metal centered complexes that we hope one day to be enzymes that can, not enzymes, catalysts that can catalyze super cool green reactions such as reducing CO2 or creating green fuel energy such as hydrogen gas. So I started out with trying a couple of clubs, one of my favorites being the debate team, which was pretty fun. But currently I am involved in research with Dr. Maria Carroll still, which is pretty awesome. I also am a cadet with the Providence College Army Patriot Battalion, and I'm an EMT outside of the college, so I work for an ambulance company privately. So it's a kind of a funny story. I had no inclination to be part of the military. None of my immediate family is in the military, but one day we had a pretty cool college alumni event where one of the old PC Chem alums came back and talked about his experience as not only a chemistry major but also a cadet for the Patriot Battalion, and how he got to commission as an officer and do some really cool things that involved chemistry and also jumping out of planes. And because I'm such a thrill seeker and thought this was so cool and it would be a chance to get my school paid for and also a chance to maybe travel the world and serve our country, I waltzed right into the office and sat down and talked to the late and great Sergeant Major Gary Fortunato and said, hey, tell me what you know about this program and convince me why I should join. So he told me about their opportunities for educational funding, all of the leadership attributes that I would gain throughout the way, and how it would build my future career as a possible medical professional. And he had me hooked since that day, and yeah, that's why I joined ROTC. Yeah, so it's a really interesting induction. Currently, I am the only woman in Providence College that is a part of the program currently, which is pretty cool, but when I first started, earning the respect of my peers was very difficult because not only as a woman, but also a new entry to the program, you have to have the leadership skills and the ability to voice your opinion in such a way that people feel inclined to follow you. So not only did I have that barrier to overcome, but being around a bunch of people that didn't necessarily think that a woman could do everything that they could do didn't help my case. However, I showed up every day to PT, so that's like our physical training in the morning, and just silently started from the bottom, kicking butt on the running, kicking butt on the push-ups, and from there began to assert myself as a leader in the groups, speaking up in classes, which advanced me to the position of Command Sergeant Major as a junior. So I was a woman in charge of 80 plus men, basically, from around the state of Rhode Island, from all different universities. And so finding my voice while standing in front of those 80 people was difficult, but easy at the same time because I knew what I was capable of. So I've really matured and grown and figured out how to say what I want to say in the way that I want to say it that's influential and motivational, but also never forget my roots as a very strong woman. Absolutely. So I actually mentored just a few months ago a brand new freshman who actually came to PC locally from the state of Rhode Island, which, if you know anything about PC, is a little bit rare. So she was overcoming a lot, but was also a biochemistry major and is interested in the program herself. And the first thing that I asked her was, what are your priorities? Where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years? And if you see yourself doing something in which you're leading a lot of people, where you're really influential and you're making a really big difference on a grand scale, then absolutely give ROTC a try, because at the end of the day, you don't have to be the strongest or the biggest or the loudest person in the room to make a big, strong difference in such a very historically significant organization. You just have to be confident in yourself. So long as you're willing and able to buckle down, make really intense schedules for yourself, and be very disciplined. If you love that life and you love that discipline, then biochemistry and ROTC are both good things to try out. But of course, I would always say, don't be afraid to change and adapt based on what you like. And being able to sit in front of a mirror and self-analyze, and say, do I really love biochemistry because that's what I want to do, is a difficult thing to do, especially as a freshman, but a necessary thing to do, I think. Yes. So the other half of my world is night shifts on an ambulance in the state of Rhode Island and Massachusetts, which is really interesting because when people think of ambulances, they think of all the gore and craziness that you see on shows and movies, when in reality a lot of private healthcare is just day-to-day generally taking care of people. It's, the grandmothers, somebody's son that you're driving on Christmas because they broke their arm, that you really get to know and learn a lot about their past and about, just their medical history and where they've been and where they're going. So being a healthcare provider in the area has taught me a lot about just the general history of the East Coast and how different people are that make it up. And I've absolutely loved helping people. It's just a really, really fulfilling thing to do. Yeah, I hope to see a continuation of the growth that is definitely occurring right now. I want to see, not only more women in STEM, which is definitely happening because currently our science department is actually pretty female dominated, but I would also love to see women just continuing to take larger and bigger roles in, say, the business school or theology departments, and remembering that at the end of the day, their voice matters just as much as the person next to them, no matter what they look like. A favorite experience? Well, I think that one of my more exciting experiences has to be being able to present some of my science research to my peers. I love getting to share what we've been able to create in our lab, and I love getting to show people that you can do so much more outside of just your regular coursework that has such an amazing impact on the field and possibly your future career. So that's been awesome, and particularly getting published junior year under Dr. Maria Carroll was so exciting. In 10 years, I see myself kicking butt in the medical field as hopefully a physician's assistant working in hopefully like emergency room type trauma, possibly for the military. I'm not too sure yet, but I just want to make sure that I fulfill 3 things in my life. 1, I want to make sure that I help people. 2, I always want to stay active with whatever I'm doing. And 3, I never want to stop challenging myself. So as long as in 10 years I'm still fulfilling those 3 goals, I know I'm going to be happy. Yeah, so I have so many incredible women in my life. I guess I could start with my peers. The women around me every single day push me to be a greater person, because I see them working and it absolutely motivates me to go the extra step, the extra mile, do the extra homework assignment one day a little bit earlier, because those all compound into greater accomplishments. So my peers are absolutely incredible. My mother, because she is so strong and independent, she currently manages an entire construction company full of all men, so her authoritative voice and one of reasoning is one that I always look towards for help when making really large decisions, so she's incredible. And then somebody that is a little bit more removed from my life but has always been a mentor to me through her literature and her podcast is Oprah Winfrey. I can't say enough about how incredible she is and empowering she is as somebody who came from a not so reputable place like me and was able to use her words and her wisdom to change American people's lives. And I hope to do the same, but through the practice of medicine.